Hey there, it's Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. So March has been a little bit of a weird month for me. I've been having a pretty poor mental health month, and you know, that happens sometimes. And so all the videos you've been seeing from me so far this month have been quite pre-filmed, and I've run out of pre-filmed things now. So I was feeling up to filming, and I kind of felt like doing a tag because I've not done one for ages, and you know, it's something where you don't really have to, well, you do have to think, but it's not really something that I have to engage my creativity that much because that's in the trash right now. So if I am a little bit, you know, ignore that, that's fine. So today I've decided to do the Spring Has Sprung tag, and that was created by the Naughty Librarian, and I'll leave the link for the original down below. So yeah, I'm just going to get straight into this and not waste any time. Actually gotta get the questions up because, ooh. Question number 1. Flowers. All the flowers we remember are blooming again. Pick a book that's a fresh take on retelling. So I know that there are a lot of fairy tale retellings out there, and I have a few of them, but I don't think they're particularly anything that new. So, like the David Gemmell whore that I am, Ghost King by David Gemmell. So this is a retelling of the myth of King Arthur. I don't tend to see very many myth retellings out there, and you know, I just really like King Arthur, to be honest with you. But the reason that it's different from other King Arthur retellings is that David Gemmell likes to combine various elements of different myths together. So whilst King Arthur is in here, there is also like I think it's the 9th Legion, you know, the Roman Legion that went missing and nobody ever knew where they went. Well, they're in it, as are ancient Greek gods and the character Gilgamesh. So there's quite a lot of different like mythological elements to this, and I think it's a really inventive way to come at King Arthur. And I think more people should know about it because it's really cool. Question number 2. Cadbury mini eggs. Obviously the superior springtime candy of choice. My mug would disagree. Although mini eggs are great, let's be real. Just Cadbury's in general, and Galaxy, and chocolate. I just like chocolate. Anyway, pick a book that you consider to be a sweet treat. If you've been on this channel for very long, you'll know that I like to read things that are fucked up. I like to read action books, I like to read fantasy books, I like to read things where lots of people get killed and that's just what happens. So, I don't really have very many sweet books. I don't read contemporaries very often. I'm going to pick a sweet element to a book that I really like, and that is Graceling by Kristen Cashore, and the sweet element is Katza and Poe's relationship, because I do think they're very sweet. I think Poe in particular is incredibly sweet, Katza not so much, but you know. But their relationship is something that I really enjoy throughout the entire series, and I'm like, oh, can we just have more relationships like this where they're like mutually respectful of each other and each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you know, they're just cute, and like, I think we should have more of that. Question number 3. Allergies. Seasonal allergies often make your eyes water. Pick a book that made you cry. You know, I don't think I've cried at a book for a long time. I'm only really crying at rereads right now. I don't know what it is about these books that I'm reading recently. I'm just not, I don't know, they're just not moving me to tears, and maybe it's because I'm a cold-hearted bitch these days, but you know. So the book that I've chosen for this question is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, and basically I cry because a certain character doesn't make it out of this book alive, and I'm sad about it. And I mean, if you've read this book then you'll know, and if you haven't, I'm not telling you. I'm not even raising this in a spoiler section because it's so obvious which character I'm talking about. Question number 4. Spring cleaning. Out with the old and in with the new. Pick a book to unhaul. I've actually really been considering unhauling some things recently because I've run out of room on my bookshelves, and I've got a hell of a lot more books that I need to put on those bookshelves. So I either unhaul some things or I buy more bookshelves. But I don't really have any room for another bookshelf. So I'm going to have to unhaul some stuff, or put them in boxes or something. So there are a lot of books on my shelves that I've been thinking about unhauling, ones that I think I'm never going to read, and this book I'm about to show you is one of them. So that is Sabriel by Garth Nix. Now I've had this book on my shelf since I was probably about 13, 14, and I still haven't read it. That's like 12, 13 years ago. That's a long time to have something on your shelf and not pick it up. And like, I don't even know what it's about. I feel like the dead are raised or something, and there's like magic and mages, but like, and I've also heard it's kind of boring. Like, the last like 3 people that I've heard talk about it on BookTube have said, really bored, does it get any better? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to pick it up, so I kind of feel like this one will get on hold. Even though it's really pretty, the cover is really pretty, it has like these like shiny little runes on it, but I mean, like, can't keep a book for its cover, that's just ridiculous. Question number 5. Spring break. It's the perfect time for an adventure. Pick a book involving a road trip. So for this question, I have picked Red Shirts by John Scalzi. So Red Shirts is a sci-fi book, which is basically a play on all of the characters who are just sort of destined to die in Star Trek. That they always wear red shirts. And whenever they're near a main character, they go on an away mission, and they don't make it back to the ship, let's just say. Red Shirts is like a parody on this, where the characters are self-aware and realise that, yeah, we shouldn't go on away missions with the main characters, and if we are, we need to stick really, really close to them and not do anything stupid, because otherwise we'll die. Now, the reason that this is a road trip book is that, I don't want to say too much, but some of the characters end up on a road trip to a parallel universe to try and figure out a way to stop what is happening to them. It's really interesting, it's so fun, John Scalzi is so witty, and it's definitely worth checking out. Question number 6, mating season. It's that time of year in the animal kingdom to make some babies. Pick a book with some smutty delights. If you know me, then you'll know that most of the smutty books that I read are ones that make me laugh. Like, I pick them up off Daily Deal Disasters. They're things like Finger Bang and Chosen by the High Judge, which you just know are going to be terrible. And like, from the descriptions of them, that's why I pick them up. I even have the Black Shelf, which is full of black lined books like Mills and Boon and that sort of thing. And they are mostly terrible too. They're very rapey and very shit. Now, amongst all of that horror, there was one book that I didn't really hate. Actually, kind of enjoyed it. It was alright, and that was In Too Deep by Portia da Costa. Now, this book is about a librarian who gets like weird sexy messages in her librarian questions box, feedback box thing. And she starts to get a bit into that, and she thinks it might be this like cute historian guy that keeps like using the library. I mean, the book is kind of exactly what you'd expect, except neither of the people are rich, so that's always nice. And the great thing about this for me is that Gwendolyn, the main character, I know if you can get past the name, then you know it's much better, but the main character sort of comes into her own, and she sort of starts to understand her own sexuality and sort of embraces it, which is really lovely to see, because, you know, I think more people embracing their sexuality would be lovely. Like, if we could all just be like, yeah, I'm into this is fine, and that's what I want to do. I would like to do this now, and that's what I'll do. And a bit of freedom in sexuality would be lovely. This also develops into a supportive relationship where you kind of actually feel like, yeah, okay, I can see these two people being together, and I don't want to say too much about the story, but I quite like this relationship, and it didn't feel rapey to me like a lot of them end up doing. This one I feel like was a consensual relationship, which is lovely. Question number 7. Rainbows. I just feel like spring is made up of freaking rainbows. Pick a book featuring LGBTQ+ characters. I don't know why I can never say that. I mean, it's my own community. You'd think I'd fucking be able to say it, wouldn't you? So for this question, I've picked up Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Colthurst. This book is really cute. I really love it. It's a fantasy book featuring an FF romance where 2 princesses, one by one, I think leans towards more being lesbian, they just fall in love. And there's like a magic plot and a plot to kill people and magic being outlawed, and I'm like, that's such a cute book and I need to read more like this. If you guys have got any more recommendations for books like this, like fantasy themed FF romance, like send it my way, because I swear to God I need more of that, please. Question number 8. Spring Awakening. This is one of my all-time favourite musicals, even though it's filled with completely dysfunctional characters. Gotta admit, I've never heard of the musical. Pick a book that's also filled with completely dysfunctional characters. Now, I have heard of many books filled with dysfunctional characters. I know, I'm going there again, but I can't help it. So, Quest for Lost Heroes by David Gemmell is a book that is about a quest, obviously, made up of some old war veterans. So the main character is this young boy, and the girl he fancies gets taken off by slavers. And he's like, right, I want to rescue her, and everyone else in the town's like, mate, she's dead, mate, leave her alone. And then he stumbles across this one guy, Charius, and he's like, can you help me save her? And Charius is like, well, I don't know. But he does, he agrees. And they end up finding a bunch of Charius's old war veteran friends. And they are all suffering in some way or another from the battles that they have fought. And there's this huge event that they're all famous for. And it's so interesting to see these characters face up. Like, some of them have like PTSD, and then some of them have physical deformities that then they have to deal with, and they sort of try and figure out what they're going to do with their lives. It's really interesting to see how that all comes together in this quest. I do have to throw out that if you're going to read this book, there is a huge trigger warning for rape. There's like a huge thing that happens there. But I mean, if you can get past that, it's really interesting to see how Gemmell deals with this group of dysfunctional characters that just sort of work really well together, and I really like them. Question number 9. In like a lion, out like a lamb. Pick a book series that didn't get better as it progressed. For this question, I'm going to go with Blood Red Road by Maury Young. Now, I really enjoyed this book. It's a dystopian YA novel set in like a dustland area, like a big desert, and it's very, like, almost Mad Maxy. There's like cage fighting to the death and rogue towns, and it's really good. I really enjoyed just everything that happens. It's got a bit of a weird writing style. If any of you have read this, there's like no quotation marks and things like that. It's really weird, but it is a really interesting book. And I like the main character because she's really not likable at all. And she's a bit of an asshole. So that's endearing. However, the second book is okay. Like, some things happen and you're like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And then the third book is like, ooh, down the toilet. Like, oh no. I felt like I was reading the conclusion to Divergent and The Hunger Games and all those dystopian novels that came around the same time, and it was like, can I copy this bit? Can I copy this bit? Can I copy this bit? Yes I can, yes I can, yes I can. Ah, every time. This series is so weird. Like, the only thing I can say about the last book in this series is that it's not happily ever after, which is something I enjoyed. It's like dysfunctional ever after, which I'm like, yeah, alright then. But honestly, if you're going to read this series, just read this book. Maybe read the second book. Definitely stop after the second book. Don't go there with the third book. It's trash. Question number 10. Fun in the Sun. Tag some friends. Okay, so I am going to tag people down in the description below, and then I'll try and message you guys on Twitter if I am capable of not being a loser and forgetting. So that's it for this tag. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!